All right. In this next unit or this next system, we're going to be looking at the excretory system. Now, every cell in our body, trillions of cells, when they go through their metabolic processes, there will be waste that is produced as a byproduct. Um, Part of this waste is going to be urea, and the way the body gets rid of this is through excreting it using the excretory system. Okay, the kidneys are going to be your major organ that's involved in excretion, filtering of this urea. There's going to be other dissolved minerals that are going to be waste products that are going to be filtered through the kidneys as well. But the reason the kidneys are filtering this waste is to try to help maintain homeostasis within the body system. Okay, it also is going to help maintain blood pH, and it's also going to help maintain the right content of water mixture within the blood. So let's look at the kidneys. Okay, the major unit or the major organ that is going to be a part of the excretory system. They're going to be on either side. There's one on either side of the spinal cord, usually about right underneath, if you can feel your rib cage, usually about right underneath your rib cage, but then just going to be on the back. Okay, and then you'll have one on either side. The kidneys, if you look at the picture, the kidneys have a lot of different parts to them, but the major unit, functioning unit within the kidneys, the filtering parts of the kidneys, these are called nephrons. Okay, so the big filtering functionality of the kidney is made up of tiny and large amounts of these nephrons, these filtering structures. So what's going to happen is that your blood, remember your blood is what's going to carry all waste from all cells. Okay, and how does it get rid of that waste? Well, one way, especially if it's can be filtered through the water that's carried by the blood, it's going to be filtered through the kidney. So the blood's going to carry the waste. All right, it's going to carry it into the kidney. Through the nephrons, it's going to get filtered, and then it's going to leave the kidney as filtered blood, or the waste is going to be filtered out. So it's going to be, I guess you can call it clean blood, or blood that's no longer carrying waste. And then that blood will continue on its pathway to wherever it's going. So the kidneys can be thought as being the garbage dump, if you will, for a lot of this liquid waste or dissolved material, the urea and other minerals that are dissolved that aren't necessarily needed, so they're waste products. And the blood's going to be the transport to the kidneys to allow this waste to be filtered, and then when it comes out, it's dumped that waste and it can go on about its processes. If you look at the other parts of the excretory system, you have ureters, okay, that are tubes connected to each kidney. These ureters are going to be the tunnels or the tubes that this liquid waste, once it's been filtered, is going to leave the kidney and travel through the ureters down to the bladder, where it's going to be stored until it's ready to be passed from the body or excreted from the body out the bladder through the urethra. So those are the major parts of your excretory system: the kidneys, the big filtering units, the ureters, which are the tubes that the waste travels from the kidneys down through the ureters to the bladder. The bladder is the storage container, and then out the body through the urethra. All right, this next system, the endocrine system. The endocrine system is your system of glands in the body. There's a lot of different types of glands, and each gland is responsible for particular processes. These glands are going to release hormones. Hormones are extremely important for the controlling and functionality of all of the different processes that occur within the body. The hormones are kind of like messages, okay, or directions, instructions, and the bloodstream will carry the blood will carry those hormones, those directions to wherever they need to be carried to, whether it be the liver or the heart or whatever system needs it to, and those directions are going to tell that system, hey, you need to increase this process, you need to cut back doing this, you need to whatever it needs to do to maintain homeostasis within that within the body. You have two main categories of glands. You have exocrine glands and you have endocrine glands. Your exocrine glands are going to release their hormones directly to the organs that use them. Okay, the endocrine glands are going to release their hormones into the bloodstream, and then the bloodstream will carry them to wherever they need to go. So your exocrine glands are tied directly through ducts, tied directly to the organs that they function with, and then your endocrine glands actually just use the bloodstream and allow the bloodstream to carry those directions or those hormones. So let's look at some important glands that you need to know about. The pituitary gland is probably by far the most important because the pituitary gland is what's actually going to regulate all of the other glands as far as their hormone production when they need to produce. So the pituitary gland is kind of like the boss of the endocrine system. Okay. The thymus is an important gland because it's going to work with your immune system. Okay, the thymus produces thymosin, this hormone, which actually is going to work in concert with the immune system, dealing with pathogens or infections that the body can be exposed to. The thymus gland then will tell the immune system with these hormones where to target, how to function, what it needs to use, those types of things. Your adrenal glands. Now, your adrenal glands are actually a type of exocrine gland because your adrenal glands are tied directly with adrenaline. Okay, it actually produces the hormone epinephrine. It actually produces this hormone when you're exposed to external stresses. Okay, and you have to react quickly to those stresses. You have to make split-second decisions to react to whatever is going on within the environment. And so your adrenal glands, they're actually found on the tops of your kidneys. Okay, one on each side, and this is where your that boost of energy, that fight or flight syndrome, I'm sure you've heard of that, is going to be tied to these glands. Your thyroid gland is another important gland. It produces thyroxine, this hormone, and this hormone is what's going to help regulate your metabolism. Okay, so you've probably heard, or maybe you've seen on shows or videos, commercials, whatever, that some people have higher metabolisms, some people have lower metabolisms. That doesn't necessarily mean anything good or bad. All it means is that if your metabolism is functioning at a higher rate, that just means that the thyroid gland and the thyroxine that's produced is causing your metabolism to function at a higher level, making it to where you burn those macromolecules more quickly. Okay, versus if yours doesn't function at a high level. Now, some people can have I guess you could say people can have challenges with some of the hormone production that they have that can interfere with things like immune response or things like metabolism, and then you can take supplements to help regulate that. But those are the major, some of the major glands and their functionality. Okay, let's get into the reproductive system. Okay, you're all freshmen. You know about the reproductive system. Probably not some of you, not in ways that you should have learned it. But either way, reproductive system. This is where the gametes that we've talked about that are going to be produced. Remember, the gametes are the sex cells. Remember, meiosis is going to occur within the reproductive system. Okay, for females, this is where the eggs are going to be produced within the ova, and then for males, it's going to be the sperm. Those are the two gametes. As far as male reproduction goes, the glands that are part of the endocrine system that function with the male reproduction are the testes. Okay, they're located within the scrotum. They are housed outside of the body, and the reason they're housed outside of the body is to help uh, more easily control body temperature, because these particular glands, when if they get too hot, they can decrease functionality, or if they get too cold, they can decrease functionality. So, being housed outside the body is more easily able to control the temperature of those glands. Female reproduction, the reproductive gametes and its system is going to be housed within the body. Okay, this is the eggs are going to be produced by the ova, which are going to be found in the oviducts or the ovaries, inside the ovaries. So the ovaries themselves are not the eggs, but the ova within the ovaries is where eggs will be produced. Um, we've talked about this before when we've looked at meiosis, but we know that once you have the male gamete and female gamete, the sperm and egg, that come together, fertilization will occur. And once you get a fertilized egg, you get the genetics from the sperm and the genetics from the egg that fuse together. You get that fertilized egg, and that creates a zygote. After a few days pass, it changes from a zygote into a morula. Okay, this is usually about a week after fertilization. And then about a week after that, it's going to the meiosis process is still occurring. You have cell division within that fertilized egg occurring, and it changes from a morula to a blastocyst. Okay, which means it's just you have cell differentiation occurring like crazy. Cells are dividing and dividing and dividing, and some are going to be dividing and being specialized for just the spine. Some are going to be dividing and being specialized just for the heart, and then just for the eyes, and just for the bones. So this is all occurring in these first few weeks after fertilization occurs. Once that blastocyst forms, okay, once you get about 2 weeks into it, it has traveled through the rest of the fallopian tube, which is the tube that goes from the ovary to the uterus, and inside the fallopian tube is where you have actual fertilization occurring. Okay, so the egg will be produced by the ovary, and then it'll travel through the fallopian tube. That's where sperm will meet up with it. If it fertilizes, then after the couple of weeks have passed and a blastocyst forms, it will actually be found within the uterus, and it will attach itself to the uterine wall. And once it does this, it starts to develop into an embryo. About 8 weeks after that is when specialization has occurred to the point to where it's going to be classified from an embryo to a fetus. All right, and then our last system, the immune system. Immune system, fighting off infection, okay? Recognizing any type of foreign substance, any pathogen, bacterial, fungal, viral, working in concert with the skin, working in concert with the blood system, with white blood cells, okay, to produce antibodies, which are proteins, and white blood cells turning into helper T cells, which are kind of like the soldiers of the immune system, and attacking any type of foreign substance. Here's where it talks about antigens, what those are. We've talked about that before, and antibodies that I just mentioned. These proteins that are produced to help attack specific pathogens. The helper T cells that I mentioned, those are going to be formed from the white blood cells, okay? And I remember your white blood cells are going to be produced from the bones, but they help. You can get killer T cells, which are going to be the ones that track down and destroy the pathogen. The helper T cells are actually what's going to build memory, so if it recognizes that particular pathogen again, it can attack it before it causes any problem. And then your memory T cells are going to work in concert with your helper, and it's all about making sure that defense is built and recognized and maintaining a healthy